Hello FPL managers and welcome back for another video. My name's Jack and today we're talking about the knee-jerk reaction for double game week 25. As there is lots to discuss for this game week, especially having a look at some Liverpool players. If you guys are enjoying the FPL videos, drop a like and subscribe as it really does help out the channel, and also click that notification bell as well so you guys don't miss any future FPL videos. Also just wanted to say thanks so much for everyone that went to FPL social and ran the event. It was lots of fun, and we do have a quick video about it up on our socials as well on Instagram and Twitter, so feel free to check that out as our most recent post. And with that being said, let's jump into the video. So in today's video, we're going to look over the most transferred in and transferred out players so far this week and give you guys a recommendation as to whether or not you should go with the crowd and bring these players into your teams or get rid of them from your squads. First of all, let's have a look at the top transfers in, and it's interesting to see a lot of managers looking to jump on those Liverpool players, with 2 out of the 3 most transferred in players being from Liverpool. The first one here is Gakpo. He put up 6 points in game week 24 as he was very impressive once again from Liverpool, making it 2 consecutive returns for Gakpo, and he could definitely be a player worthwhile taking a look at for coming game weeks, especially considering that Liverpool do have that double game week coming up in game week 25, so a great chance to look towards those Liverpool FPL assets. Gakpo though, the only thing I'd look to touch on there is that Jota could potentially take his place, as we did see Jota come on for Gakpo in the most recent fixture, and of course if this is to be the case, Gakpo is not going to be as good an option. And when you're looking at game week 25 for Liverpool, they still have to play their Champions League game as well, so they play the Champions League, they have a 3-day break, then play in the Premier League, they only have another short 3-day break before they play their second fixture in the double game week. So I do think there's a high chance of some Liverpool players being rotated, and I think Gakpo would definitely be one of the players that could potentially get rotated in one of the out of those 2 fixtures in that Liverpool double game week, especially since Jota is working his way back to full fitness and is now getting minutes on the side as well. I definitely think there's going to be a high chance of rotation for those Liverpool players, considering they have three matches in around a 6 to 7 day time span, so a lot of fixtures still yet to be played for Liverpool, and I think Gakpo could see some rotation. So if you still want to get him into the sides, that's fair enough, but just expect that he may come off the bench for one of the 2 games and may not feature in one of those 2 fixtures in the double game week, so just keep that in mind as well. But otherwise, I do really like Liverpool assets, as not only do they double in game week 25, but they are also good options all throughout the rest of the season, as they have low chances of blanking and a bunch of blank game weeks as well, so a good chance to have Liverpool players in the team. But Bukayo Saka as well, obviously he's coming off another return in game week 24. He got himself a goal. Did have a slight injury concern though, but was able to play through most of the match. Unfortunately for him, picked up a yellow card though, so it didn't take him up to 7 points, and he missed out on some bonus points as well as a result of this yellow card. So still 6 points, another good score for Saka, and I think he's a very good option to have for Arsenal right now. Probably the best Arsenal asset to have in my opinion, as he's definitely looking the most dangerous out of the main attacking assets that people have in the FPL teams right now, whether that's Nketiah, Odegaard or Martinelli. I think Saka is the most dangerous looking at the minute, and he's the one that's been in best form as well. So I think Bukayo Saka, a great transfer in. Obviously Arsenal are doubling in 25 and avoid all the blanks in 28 and 32, so a good team to have players from as well there. And of course Mo Salah, he's going to be a player that's going to cause a lot of controversy as to whether or not you should go to bring him in the teams, what premiums you're going to go for. He's definitely going to shake up how managers' teams are looking over the coming game weeks, as a lot of people are going to look to get Mo Salah in the side, now putting up 2 consecutive returns for Liverpool, and they really have looked very, very good in their last couple of matches. So hopefully this Liverpool form turn, it could come at the right time, especially with the double game week coming up, plus some pretty good fixtures coming up outside of this double game week as well. I think Liverpool could be a big team to target, and Mo Salah, probably the best Liverpool asset to have in the teams right now. I do think Mo Salah is a great transfer in for double game week 25. Even for a -4 hit, I would still say Mo Salah is worth bringing into the teams, as he can be so explosive at his best, and he's just hinted at some good form that Liverpool and himself are coming in, and it's at the right time of the season as well, with a double game week coming up for Liverpool. Then looking at the most transferred out players as well, Nick Pope did put up -3 points in game week 24, got himself that red card in just 20 minutes against Liverpool, in a very bad run, or a bad session of 20 minutes there for Nick Pope in a personal note. So I think obviously he's a good player to get rid of from the squad. He's going to miss the next game for Newcastle, so a good player to get rid of from the teams. Not too much to talk about there. Tony as well, he's been heavily transferred out, quite an quite interesting option here. Obviously, Brentford do blank in game week 25, but if you can afford to bench him and still have 11 starting players, I would definitely look to do so, considering Brentford do have that double game week in game week 27. Brentford have a really good double game week that week, so I think Tony could be a good player to have in the sides as well. And Tony also does avoid a blank in game week 32, so that's also something to consider for Brentford if you're trying to plan for the future, and whether you're not looking to use a free hit in game week 32 and want to have as many starting players, Tony could be a good option. Something else to consider with Tony though is that he's also on 8 yellow cards, so 2 yellow cards time we'll see him get another suspension, so that is also something to consider when you're looking at Ivan Toney. Would I necessarily transfer him into the side this week? Obviously not, potentially ahead of game week 27, but if you can afford to hold him on the bench, then I'd probably look to do so, and so you can have him in the side for game week 27, so you don't have to worry about transferring him out, then transferring him back in for the double, as a lot of managers are going to look to have Tony in for their double game week 27 squads. And Kieran Trippier as well. Quite surprising to see such a popular player being transferred out by managers, and a player that's performed so well so far this season. The obvious reason why he is getting transferred out is because Newcastle do blank in 25, but he's definitely a player that I'd be looking to hold through that blanking game week 25, as he's been so good for Newcastle this season, returning in around 75% of games this season for Newcastle and FPL. So he's been so consistent, probably a player that I'd be looking to drop to the bench just for game week 25 and keep in the squads for the remainder of the season, as clearly Newcastle's defensive form has dropped off slightly in the last couple of matches, but Trippier very unlucky not to have an assist in the most recent match against Liverpool, highlighting how he has good potential at both ends of the pitch. So Kieran Trippier, definitely a player to hold on to in my opinion. So with these popular transfers in mind, let's have a look at our Game Week 25 transfer watch list. These are 8 players here that I do recommend you guys keep an eye on for a potential transfer into your squads over the coming game weeks, because they have good points potential coming up or have been in good form recently. The first one here is Alexander-Arnold, and he's coming off 12 points in Game Week 24. He's looked very, very good recently, providing a couple of assists in each of his last couple of games for Liverpool. He's coming at 7.3, quite an expensive defender still, and you're going to have to free up quite a bit of money in the bank, as there aren't too many high-end defenders at a similar price point to Trent Alexander-Arnold right now. The most likely, the most expensive defender is going to be that people have in their teams is Kieran Trippier, and I don't recommend getting him out of the squad, so you do have to have around 2 million in the bank to be able to afford Alexander-Arnold in the team. But personally, I think he could definitely be a player worthwhile targeting, at least for Game Week 25 anyways. He's got a great predicted points of 9.4 by Fantasy Football Fix, and a good couple of fixtures as well against Crystal Palace and Wolves. Definitely one of the better double game weeks that we do have in Game Week 25 for Liverpool, especially from a defensive standpoint as well. Obviously, Wolves are a side that have struggled for goals recently, failed to score against Bournemouth in their most recent home fixture, so potentially a good chance for a Liverpool clean sheet there against Wolves. And Crystal Palace haven't necessarily set the world on fire from an attacking perspective this season either, so a good chance of Liverpool to pick up at least one clean sheet in these games. The main thing to look out for though is the Champions League as well. They're going to have a lot of fixtures in a very short period of time. The good thing with Alexander-Arnold is there's not too much job competition or spot competition at right back for Liverpool right now, so Alexander-Arnold has a good chance of playing a couple of these Premier League fixtures here. So a big fan of Alexander-Arnold for this week and fixtures beyond this as well, as Liverpool do avoid a lot of blank game weeks, plus have this double coming up, a good time to have a potential double up on Liverpool, if not even a triple up as well in coming game weeks. We'll have to see how that plays out, but Alexander-Arnold definitely a player to keep an eye on. Bukayo Saka, clearly a good pick here. Most people already have him in the sides, but I still recommend people look to get him in if they don't have him in their teams right now. In my opinion, the best Arsenal asset to have in FPL at the moment, and at 8.4, a decent price for the amount of returns that he's providing, and he actually has the second highest predicted Game Week 25 points out of any player on this watch list here with 10.6, and he's got a great predicted points across the next 6 game weeks as well, which is also the second highest, only behind Mo Salah with 38.5. So Saka, a good player to have in the sides. Ollie Watkins as well, he's a player that I really wanted to touch on, a player that's been in excellent form now providing 4 consecutive returns in FPL in his last 4 matches. Watkins, a player with really good fixtures coming up. Aston Villa are a side that play through all the blank game weeks. You can avoid a lot of blank game weeks in 28 and 32 by having Aston Villa assets in the team, And I think Watkins is probably the best Aston Villa asset to have right now, just considering how good a form he's been in, especially under Unai Emery. Really has brought the best out of Ollie Watkins, and with a good fixture, Everton away in game week 25, a good chance to have Watkins in the side. His predicted points aren't massive right now, but I would expect his predicted points to rise by Fantasy Football Fix, as obviously he's putting out very good underlying stats and he's got good fixtures coming up, a player in good form at a decent price as well at 7.1. If you don't want to get Tony into the team, if you're worried he's going to get a couple more yellow cards, get the suspension, plus Brentford obviously blank this week and have a chance of blanking in game week 25 as well, 28 as well, Watkins could be a better forward option at a cheaper price at 7.1 right now. Really a player that I've been looking to get in as well as a third forward option, a great one for consideration right now with a pretty low ownership. Odegaard, another fairly popular pick. His ownership's around 37% right now. With a double game week coming up, Leicester and Everton, a really good one from an attacking perspective for Arsenal. Two defences that haven't been great so far this season. Everton have improved their defensive form quite a bit, but with Arsenal playing at home against Everton in this fixture, I do fancy them for some goals. And I think this Leicester versus Arsenal game as well should have plenty of goals in it. So definitely an exciting time to have those Arsenal attacking players in the game on your team. And Odegaard with a very good predicted points of 9.4 there as well. Mo Salah, he's the main talking point though for the watch list. A player that I'm really looking to get into my team as well for game week 25. Even on a hit, I think Salah is definitely worth it, as he's got great fixtures coming up and you can pretty much have him in the teams for the whole blank game week period of 28 and 32, as Liverpool do have a decent chance of avoiding both these blank game weeks. We will have to see whether Liverpool do blank in game week 28 depending on some FA Cup fixtures. But Liverpool do avoid the game week 32 blank game week, plus not only have a double this week, but have really good fixtures outside of this double game week as well. And it is a good double in 25 of Crystal Palace and Wolves. And Salah does have the highest predicted points of any player for game week 25, according to Fantasy Football Fix, with 11.4. And he's also got the highest predicted points of any player across the next 6 fixtures with 38.7, or sorry, across the next 6 game weeks, should I say, with 38.7. So I definitely coming into form right now, probably the best, if not second best premium asset to have in your teams right now. De Bruyne has been in good touch, Kane's been in good touch, but I think Salah is a better option than both of those players at the minute. Haaland, obviously a pretty consistent performer, but has seen a slight dip in form recently, and I'd be interested to see what his rotation is like with Champions League minutes for Manchester City, and also busy fixture schedules for them coming up, as I'm sure they should go fairly far in the Champions League this season as well. So Salah, a really good option that is worthwhile keeping a look at in your sides. Robertson as well, another good option for Liverpool. He's a player that I probably prefer to Alexander-Arnold in my opinion, as he is 0.5 cheaper, so he does save you a bit of money. And Robertson does have better underlying numbers than Trent in terms of expected assists, especially in the most recent match. Despite Robertson not getting an assist, he did have a higher XA than Trent, and Robertson has put up 5 assists this season, so pretty much staying on par with Trent's attacking returns so far this year, despite being 0.5 million cheaper. He can also match Trent Alexander-Arnold for predicted points, as you can see here, pretty similar predicted points between him and Trent for game week 25, both sitting around 9, and also a fairly similar predicted score across the next 6 weeks as well, with 27 and 28 respectively with Robertson and Alexander-Arnold there. So if you were looking for a Liverpool defensive asset, I think Robertson would probably be my preferred option, just because he is getting into better positions. He's getting a better XA than Trent Alexander-Arnold right now, and obviously being cheaper as well does make him a little bit better value there. Tarkowski as well, another good option worthwhile targeting. He provided another clean sheet for Everton in their most recent fixture, and Sean Dyche really has tightened up that Everton defence. A good time to have Everton players in the team, especially with a double in 25. Everton also do avoid a blank game weeks coming up, so a good time to have Everton players in the team. Everton could potentially avoid a blanks in game week 28 and 32. So Tarkowski at 4.3, a really good value starting centre back. He was also slightly unlucky not to have an attacking return in the most recent fixture. He's a real threat from corners, getting headers there. So another route to returns potentially for Tarkowski. And if you're looking for a good cheap defender, I would recommend Tarkowski as a nice pick here. And he is expected to score pretty well in 25 with 5.1 predicted points. which is pretty good, especially considering his price at just 4.3. And the last defensive asset that I wanted to touch on here was Benoit Badiashile. He's coming in at 5 mil for Chelsea. Not a great fixture this week against Tottenham away, but the good thing is with Chelsea, they have a chance of doubling in game week 29, and they could also be good asset. They have good fixtures, from game week 26 and in the near future as well. A defense that's been in pretty good form recently. They have recorded 3 clean sheets in the last 5 matches, and if managers are looking towards a different defensive assets outside of Liverpool, then potentially Chelsea could be a defense worthwhile targeting. As also Chelsea do have a good chance of avoiding a blank in game week 32, which is definitely going to be something to keep in mind. If you're not looking to free hit in game week 32, you want to have as many starting places as you can. Badiashile, a good player to have in the teams to avoid this blank game week, and he doesn't have a massive predictor points in the next 6 or in game week 25. Obviously, with Spurs being a difficult fixture, wouldn't necessarily look to bring him in this week, but a good defensive asset to keep in mind for the sides across future game weeks coming up. Thanks for watching today's knee-jerk reaction for game week 25. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, drop a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel and pushes the video out to more people as well. So make sure also you have those notification bells turned on, as there is going to be lots more FPL content coming your guys' way shortly in the build up to double game week 25, plus lots of blanks and doubles in the near future. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.